Hello, everyone, and welcome back. After a year break, we are back with Leaks Daily, or as we're calling it this year, the Raging Reveals. Because as so many of you have kind of pointed out, these are now official reveals. These aren't just little tidbits of leaks. These are actual information that we're basically going to be getting for leaks coming out in just over 2 weeks now on the 27th. Every day for the next 15 days, we'll be covering all of the new reveals as we count up to the days for the League's 5 launch. And trust me, there is so much to look forward to between relics, echo bosses, combat masteries. It's going to be a really, really fun time, and I'm really excited to be back presenting all the information as we get it every single morning. And in typical Leagues fashion, we're going to be starting off with the Tier 1 skilling relics that you'll have to choose between. Power Miner for mining, which will smelt and bank bars and gems. Lumberjack, which will burn, bank, or fletch logs for wood cutting. And Animal Wrangler, which can cook and bank fish or can be used in Hunter. That's right, everyone is a part of the Harvest Gang with the Tier 1 skilling relics. Remember that the mining one also works with gems, so you can get crafting experience, and the woodcutting one you can also fletch too. So even though the fishing one seems kind of strong because it's helping hunter and fishing and cooking, the other ones also benefit 3 skills each as well. And personally, guys, I think that this is really, really awesome because I've always loved Endless Harvest, and now instead of having to choose Endless Harvest, now I have to really think about which specific skill I actually want to kind of specialize in that early game. And I really think the implication here is going to change a lot of your day one routes because having that extra bonus and being able to really take advantage of a certain skill is going to change your first hour or so, and also change kind of what you want to do in that first region. If you're going for the mining one, it might be hard to find some competition with other people, but it might help you in your first region. Whereas, for example, the fishing one, you could just literally run to Draenor in like 16 seconds and just start, training your fishing as fast as you can. And I'm also very pleased to announce that we actually have all the information about these relics, so we can talk about it because it's even stronger than you might think just based off the reveal. Let's start with Power Miner. This is the mining kind of choice. So you'll be getting the Echo Pickaxe, very reminiscent of the Trailblazer pickaxe that you could get in the past. This acts as a non degradable version of the Crystal Pickaxe, so you're getting a very good tool that you can use right away, right at level 1, and that's going to last you the entire leagues. This pickaxe grants you the benefits of having a separate 50% chance to succeed if you do fail a rock, so you'll be having a significantly higher chance. It's almost like the Fang where it has another accuracy roll. That's going to happen now with mining. Items can be sent automatically to the bank. And very importantly, the Echo Pickaxe will actually cause rocks to not deplete until you've mined 4 ore. So this means that you'll actually be able to get a lot more resources from ores and not have to run around as much. If you remember, I talked about how cool it would be to have a relic where resources don't deplete, and this is something that I personally always felt with the Endless Harvest relic, was that mining really suffered because it doesn't really matter that you're just automatically like AFK banking all your stuff if you constantly have to switch every single rock. So bringing that up to 4 is pretty damn strong now. In addition, this does stack with the mining gloves to get up to a cap of 7 ores from a given node. Remember though, those mining gloves do require Ascarnia to have access to the mining guild. If you're going to go with Power Miner, that's definitely something you're going to want to keep your eyes on. Finally, you'll be able to toggle the kind of burn effects of all of these tools, which is to smelt ores and get smithing experience. You won't need the coal; it'll just automatically turn into bars that you can then use for even more smithing experience. And if you're doing any kind of gems, you'll be able to automatically craft those for crafting experience. Another really easy way to get that up. Everybody will have access to Karumja. The gem mine, the downstairs portion, I think has also been changed now to only require the medium Karumja diaries. So I don't think you need the hard diaries anymore. And that means you'll actually have access to that pretty early on. You will have to do some Taiba One Eye, gout tubers to complete the medium diary, but it's it's going to be doable, easier than having to do the hard Karumja diary. Okay, moving on, let's talk about Lumberjack. This is the wood cutting version. So same idea. You'll get the Echo Axe. It's a crystal pickaxe. If you fail to chop a tree, you'll have another 50% chance to succeed. That's really good for wood cutting. If you haven't played in a while, there's been some pretty big changes now where basically every single tree now has a kind of set timer. So you'll be able to chop as much as you can. You're not going to be competing with other people as much. And that's all kind of part of the forestry event. So, for example, I think like a maple tree, it lasts for like 45 seconds of just cutting as soon as somebody starts with it. Very similar to like the top floor of the Motherlode mine, if you're familiar with that. And just like with the pickaxe, anything that you chop can be burnt for fire making experience, or it can be fletched into fletching experience. Now, I don't know at this moment whether or not you can like simultaneously make it do both. I don't think that's going to be the case, but maybe we'll get some clarification on that soon enough. And finally, of course, Animal Wrangler. This is probably the more complicated one because it's working on fishing and hunter as well. Just like with the others, you're going to be getting the crystal harpoon as like, the substitute that will be used to actually get the benefits. You'll get the extra 50% chance at a roll and I actually just realized that I believe this is a separate 50% chance to succeed. Now, I don't know if that 50% is based on your like chance. So let's say, things like sharks or swordfish, those kind of tasks or those kind of fish that have a really low chance. I'm not sure if this is a flat 50% chance to succeed or if it's a 50% chance of your chance, like a multiplicative thing. If it is a flat 50% chance, I think this is actually going to be really, really good for fishing, especially because things such as swordfish, sharks, even lobsters, there's always been a lot of tasks for that. And I think that this will speed that up quite substantially. Now, of course, it will also speed things up like mining adamantite ore or mining like wood cutting things like yews, things that have a fairly low chance. And I think there could actually be some pretty significant new training methods. Like now, unironically, I could see like sharks being like the best experience per hour if that's the case. Now, again, I don't know for sure, but just like how the Fang has changed so much combat meta because it's so accurate, having like skilling accuracy built in as a choice is going to be really fun to play around with. I really can't wait to see what kind of calculations are done regarding these. Now, one thing in particular about the fishing one is that it will also attempt to catch fish one tick faster. I don't know what that word attempt necessarily means, but I think it just means that you're always catching one tick faster. And I don't think that was true for the others, which means that this is actually quite substantially speeding up fishing. And you can also use this everywhere. Even though you're getting the crystal harpoon, you'll be able to use this in place of a lobster pot or in place of a net. Basically, you have one like multi-tool that just does all the fishing for you now. In addition, you'll also be getting hunter benefits. This was something that in the last leagues was kind of given to Trickster, but now it's just part of the fishing relic. Hunter traps will never fail. Box traps will catch Chinchampas faster. I think this just means that Chinchampas basically sprint straight to them. You'll also be getting double Chinchampas and double experience, and Impling Jars never break. And also, you no longer burn food, so even if you do have any kind of raw food from PVM, doing raids, things like that, you'll always be able to automatically burn those as well. So it actually makes it so that even like any kind of raw fish you get is still really damn beneficial for getting insanely fast cooking experience. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I think that this is a really, really cool choice. I love tier 1 relics, and I'm really glad that they're going with a very different direction for your choice. This really reminds me of kind of back in Leagues 2, where they first announced the different combat styles, and that really made people start to explore new avenues as to which one they wanted. This feels like a much more I guess like a smaller decision because ultimately, these skilling relics are not they're not the most broken thing ever. I don't think they're fundamentally going to like completely shatter the game, but it does allow you to specialize in a certain skill and get a little bit of that benefit, um, which I think is a really, really fun decision. And I'm really, really excited to make some routes with these in mind. And I think it's definitely going to affect your first region because so much of the early game of leagues tends to kind of go onto the skilling side of things. And I think that this is going to be a pretty important decision. And I think it's also going to be a very like a very fun decision where you don't really feel that bad. I don't really see a wrong choice here. It just kind of feels like you're making one of them significantly better, but you're not really like it's not like the opportunity cost. I don't think is as great as some of the other relic choices. Now I can already see a lot of people kind of feeling like these are really weak and not as interesting as last year's relics were. I know especially some of you were probably really excited to have Trickster come back, but just remember that now that combat relics are being moved to combat masteries, I could very much see the same amount of like choices between the relics, but they're more skilling, more quality of life, more of the fun stuff, kind of like equilibrium or ruinous powers. Those kind of decisions, there might be more of those, so we might still see Trickster coming back, especially since tier one relics are your very, very first choice that you kind of make right at the start of the game. I think having something like this that's sort of foolproof and you can't really go wrong is a very good decision. And yeah, again, I feel like right now all I want to do is I want to sit and start like planning out kind of what route I would take with some of these relics. I know in particular I used to do a lot of fishing early on, so I think I'm going to try to aim for that. I'm kind of not leaning too hard on the mining one right now because mining is really congested, but I could see a lot of value from the mining one once you get out, especially if you're going for Asgarnia. And again, I really want to see if that flat 50% or if it's a flat 50% to succeed because then I'm actually so excited to like fish sharks as like the best experience per hour as opposed to like fly fishing. And it has also been confirmed that all of these will work as you would expect them to work when it comes to things such as skilling minigames. So Winter Todd, Temperos, Volcano. If you are picking a region that has any of those, that's definitely something to look out for. I know that personally, I had a lot of fun doing one cycle Temperos, where he actually like he would just make the whirlpool, and I would basically solo it in one phase. That was a lot of fun last leagues, and um, you know things like that. Same thing with Winter Todd, being able to chop stuff and automatically fletch it into the logs. You won't even have to deal with the winter chill. That sounds really, really fun, and I can't wait to see what people think of this and which ones they would like to invest in. I think it's gonna be a really like even spread, and I like relics where there's a fairly even spread, and there's not really a correct choice, and there's certainly not an incorrect choice. That's what Leagues is all about for me, making sure that there's no incorrect way to play the game. Now, regardless of how you feel about these relics, guys, there's still 14 more days coming up. So, look forward to that. There's still so much more news. I can't wait to see what the combat masteries are like. And yeah, I'm just gonna say it feels really good to be back with the league's announcement cycle. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am for the upcoming days ahead, and it's gonna be a really busy time. So I look forward to seeing what they've been cooking up for us. Let me know what relic you'll be picking in the comments below. And guys, welcome back to League season. All right, it's about time.